It's time for the Cooper Group's road trip. We're traveling in the all-new Chevy Malibu, courtesy of Seaweaver Chevrolet. The Malibu was named 2008 North American Car of the Year and one of Car and Driver's 10 best cars of 2008. This week we visit the idyllic hamlet of Van Hornesville, founded by Abram Van Horn in 1785. This is small-town country living at its best, much of which is due to its leading benefactor, Owen D. Young. Throughout his career in law, business, and diplomacy, and his retirement career in agriculture, he always maintained his home in Van Hornesville. The nonprofit community corporation he founded in 1938 still serves to promote the well-being and well-doing of the people of Van Hornesville.
Owen D. Young was truly a man for all seasons. He had many, many talents, many, many professions. And included in those was the fact that he founded RCA. So in that sense, he's the man who's responsible for the dog, remembered by the Victrola, hearing his master's voice. And I have here one of the original ones. Do you know what the dog's name was? The name on here is Victor, but the Young family told me today that the real name for this dog was Nipper. I'm standing by Owen D. Young's desk. He was a lawyer, and he was also a very, very private person. As a matter of fact, he valued his privacy so much that when asked to run for president in 1932, he did not want to give up that privacy, and he declined. Because he declined, the individual who stepped up to bat to run for president was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Because of his work as a diplomat and as a businessman, in 1929 he became Time magazine's Man of the Year. The only person from the Mohawk Valley to ever hold that honor.
We were privileged to meet members of the Young family. Richard Young, Owen's youngest son, was kind enough to talk to us about his father.
I was the youngest of two. I have two older brothers and a sister. He was with the General Electric Company. He became the chairman a couple of years after I was born. Of course, he was also at that time chairman of the Radio Corporation, RCA. He was a busy man indeed, and it was an interesting life because in New York we had a New York apartment and lived very comfortably, entertained a lot, had to. I remember all that. But we always tried to get out of there as much as we could.
So what was Van Hornesville to your family?
Ancestral home from the very beginning. My father was always interested in Van Hornesville, in the people, how they made a living, how you raised good dairy cattle, which was a great business in those days. You know what small towns are like, very small towns. And they had a hard time surviving in the 20th century. He always felt that life in a small town was very good, especially for children. And the opportunity to do something came when the one-room schoolhouse here in Van Hornesville, which stood on this site, burned along about 1925. And he agreed with the school district to build a new school. And that idea grew and grew and eventually became a new central school. That's what we have today. It's a small central school, but it's one of the earliest in New York State.
The Central School was built in 1930 by Owen D. Young and named in his honor after his death. It was built to combine the rural schools in the area and was one of the first consolidated schools. It serves students from pre-K to 12th grade and is a story in itself. Its hardwood floors and unique design are quite unlike most schools. The first graduation speaker was Franklin D. Roosevelt. Madame Curie designed the science lab, and the library is an exact replica of George Washington's library. Behind the school is an outdoor learning center consisting of 50 acres in a gorge of the Otsquago Creek. It is located on the site of an 18th century trail that is believed to have been used by George Washington in 1783 while en route to Cherry Valley. In 1984, through the efforts of Janet Young and the research of Charles Watkins, work began to open the gorge to the public. Today, winter visitors enjoy cross-country skiing and snowshoeing. The ice formations at the waterfalls are breathtaking, and there's a cave trail that leads you to limestone caves.
That's the Robert Woodruff Outdoor Learning Center. and it started several years ago when the school wanted to teach several different kinds of classes outside and take advantage of the setting that they're in. I happened to be teaching 4th grade here at the time, and I was having a great time, and on weekends and in evenings I'd go kick around in that area looking for the infamous caves. And because I have a hard time staying on trails, I also had a hard time finding the caves, so I'd climb down through the stream bed and everything. And finally, when I did find them, I was really impressed. Well, I think they're very fortunate because they have a facility that's pretty easy to get to and gets used to some degree. I know there's one class that does ecology studies there, and there's another class that does some work with their history program. So it gives them the chance to do some hands-on type of things that in other settings they wouldn't get to do. And a lot of times that's the way you really learn something very deep. And it also gets them outdoors, which is a big piece of learning, believe it or not. One of my favorite books is one that's called The Last Child in the Woods. And it's about how we decreasingly allow children to spend time in the outdoors, unstructured time, and how damaging that might really be.
Owen D. Young would be pleased to see that Van Hornsville has stayed pretty much the same. People still meet at the country store like he used to with the local dairy farmers. The feed mill still operates at the corner of the village park. It was built in 1836 by Daniel Van Horn on the site of Abram Van Horn's original mill, and the mill house still overlooks the village park. The Van Hornsville Fish Hatchery has beautiful buildings created from the leftover limestone from the building of the school. The 8.2 acres and 2 spring water sources were given to New York State as a gift from Owen D. Young to remain forever as such.
These are rainbow trout, domestic rainbow trout that we stock for New York State in publicly accessible water. And our stocking territory is from about Frankfort all the way over to the Vermont border. From Washington County down to Columbia County. And we'll stock about 25,000 rainbow trout in that area and about another 139,000 brown trout. I like the variety. You know, there's always something different to do. I mean, if it's a really cold day, a lot of times you can work inside, and if it's a beautiful day or even a day like today, it's not too bad to be outside and take care of the fish, and you know, you're dealing with a live animal and being outdoors. I love being outdoors and doing the work outdoors. No, it's not like a cow. You don't hear them mooing. I mean, we're farming here, but you don't hear them mooing or anything like that. Yep.
While you're in Van Hornsville, you'll find out that there's only one bowling alley. It's the Route 80 Bowl. It's also a restaurant. You can come here on a Saturday night, including this Saturday night, and have a smorgasbord for only $9. There are more than 12 items on it. Then it's topped off with something that has been called by these two people that I was talking to here today, Nancy and Ron. They say that the rice pudding here is the best rice pudding in all of New York State. I've already hiked the trail here in Van Hornsville. You may want to do it in reverse. Come here and have a good meal and that rice pudding, and then head to the trail to burn up some calories.
Let's see what we can see. It's time for the Cooper Group's road trip. It's time for the Cooper Group's road trip.